everybody. How are we all doing? Just checking that the sound is live. It is. I can take my headphones out while we're having a chat. Welcome back. I've only had a week off and it feels like I've had like a month off or something. Also, no, other way. We've got a cat. The cat is actually in the bed at the start of the live stream. I feel like I should talk really quietly so that I don't spook him to run away. But yeah, Stanley's here. Stanley's in his little bed, asleep. He's been there for about 20 minutes, so don't know how long he will stay here. As per usual, he will probably disappear at some point, but he's here. So, how's everybody doing? Hi Raven, hi Mum. Thank you for joining. How's everybody's fortnight been? I mean, I say how's everybody's fortnight been. I know how my mum's has been, 'cause I speak to my mum on like a daily basis. But Raven, how are things going? Anybody else who's just joining? How is everybody doing? I'll do my little intro while people are letting me know how things are going. If this is a video that you are watching on demand, or if you are watching it later, or if this is the first video of mine that you've come across, this is my live stream series. It's called Livestream Writing Club, but pretty much it's just a hangout for people who want to find a nice little community in a corner of the internet. So the format is that it's a 2-hour-long live stream. We have lots of little chatty moments, and in and amongst that we have between 2 and 4 20-minute focus sessions. During that time I go quiet, I put some lovely music on in the background for you, and you can spend 20 minutes doing whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's writing, reading, making your dinner, doing some cleaning, making something, whatever. We have people who do all sorts on the live stream. So yeah, welcome in. And yeah, if you're watching it on demand later, don't forget that you can still like the live stream even after it's happened, and that really helps YouTube know that this is something that you're enjoying. So thank you very much. I know that we do have quite a few people who tend to watch it on catch up, so thank you to everybody who watches it on catch up, and thank you to everyone who joins live. The weather is finally starting to cool down a little. Yeah, it's definitely more bearable here as well, thankfully. It's very grey and overcast actually, which I don't think you can probably just see out of the window in Stanley's cat cam. But yeah, it's been very grey and overcast. Finally got a little bit of rain late last night. Tom and I were playing Xbox in bed and we have the window open, because I pretty much have the window open through the entirety of the summer, and could just hear the rain coming down. It was such a beautiful sound. Wasn't quite like super heavy rain, like I really like that super heavy kind of stormy rain sound, but it was enough just to hear the pitter patter, which was very nice. So yeah, those fields have had some much needed wasp, but they need an awful lot more. England is struggling massively, and everybody got a wildfire alert. I think it's a wildfire. Oh, there he goes. Bye, boys. He's gone. He'll be back. Yeah, we all got a wildfire alert on our phones. I know that in America, you guys have this quite often with, is it the NCMEC, National Centre for Missing and Exploited Children? You get things like Amber Alerts, don't you, to your phone when children go missing, and they just pop up on everybody's phone in the state, I think it is, or maybe even across the country. We don't really get things like that a lot in the UK. I think I've only had one other previous to this, and I can't even remember what it was for. I think maybe it was them just testing it, like they did a national test and everybody got an alert across the country at the same time. So this is the very first one that like we actually had an alert for it, and it was warning about wildfires and basically the fact that England is in such major droughts that we are at risk of wildfires. So, but then of course literally within about 10 minutes there were memes and everything all over the internet of people like, oh my god, I thought there was going to be a nuclear apocalypse, not just that it's hot or something like that. It's quite funny. So yeah, we had one of those. California. I thought you were in that way. Yeah, I use an app called Watch Duty to track local wildfires. Yeah, how are things going over there? Have you got a lot at the moment? I mean, California has been hugely affected by wildfires, hasn't it, in recent years? Were you near any of the kind of major fires that were out there? Was it last year or the year before? Where a load of celebrities lost their homes. Sorry, I'm probably sounding a little bit ignorant. I don't know much about it, obviously, being in England, but I know that there were major fires. I think touch wood, we've not had any more near our area recently. There was a really big one recently where somebody set off fireworks and it set off a wildfire. That person was arrested and prosecuted as a result of using fireworks, because disposable barbecues, fireworks, all those kind of things are now banned on our kind of moorland areas. So yeah, it's been a bit intense, but I think rain is forecast. Let me just have a quick look at there's a 60% chance of rain tonight. Yeah, so tomorrow there's a 100% chance of rain. So I think we're going to get some rain tomorrow. I mean, these things change, don't they? It says it's pretty much going to be rain for until like next Thursday. So not this Thursday, next Thursday on the 10-day forecast. There's only going to be one day of sun, but it said that when Tom's mum and dad were due to come. It said it was going to be rainy for like the entire week that they were here. And then I think we only had one day when there was a little bit of spitting, and other than that it was absolutely glorious. And then of course we had the heat wave at the back end of them being here, so it changes a lot, doesn't it? I feel very British talking about the weather. Nothing ever makes me feel more like a Brit than sitting and talking about the weather, because I feel like it's something that as an English person we do really well. Thankfully no, but we had a couple of big ones. Gan fire, and there was one other that got out of control quick, all out now. Dove fire was the other one. Yeah, I'm glad they're all out. It's just really sad, isn't it? And a sign that we need to, as a planet, need to do better. But yeah, what else has everybody been up to? What else have you been up to, Raven? Mum, have you had a nice relaxing day? I know that you've been chilling today. Mum did something very cute over the weekend. On Sunday she did a stall at a local fair and was selling knitted. Her knit and natter group had a stall at the fair, which was very cute. But as a result is now resting. Much needed rest, so that's good. I am going to do some writing today, but I'm also going to do some reading. I picked up, I think I've shown you this already, Women in the Land. This was recommended to me by the person who I spoke to, the legal historian that I spoke to a couple of weeks, probably about 5 weeks ago now that I spoke to him, and he was really, really helpful, and he recommended this book. He said that it'd be a really good book to read, to understand more about kind of the legal standing of women and inheritance and land, because a big part of my fiction book is women's position and a change in the law. The whole catalyst for the story is that there's a change in the law which changes the position of women, and therefore my main character is affected by this change in the law. And so in order to understand all of that and make sure that it is kind of somewhat historically accurate, obviously it is slightly an alternate history, but I want it to have as much grounding in kind of legal history as possible. He suggested that I read that book. It's really good, actually. It's actually providing lots of help for book 3 as well, which I'm working on at the moment, which is Widows and Country Houses. So yeah, I'm probably going to do a bit of reading in the first 20-minute session of that, because I was reading that before I started getting set up for the live stream and everything. I've been enjoying kind of working through that. And then I may even just read that for the whole of this live stream. We'll see. If I start feeling inspired to write, then I will write. What's everyone else going to do? What are you guys going to do? Raven, Mum, what are you going to do while we do our 20-minute session? I mean, we're not going to get into it for another kind of 5 minutes or so. It'll be 7:15, I think, when we go into the first one. Recently discovered the concept of Amazon short reads, and so I'm browsing through story ideas to see if I can work up some more shorts. Kindle short reads. I don't know what that is. We'll have to have a look at it myself. Kindle short reads. Are these like kind of short stories that you can publish? Browse best-selling short stories. Ah, that's cool. I mean, I do wish we had an alternative platform other than Amazon, but as that is the main self-publishing platform at the moment, we have to go with it. But a really great other option, you know, if you're maybe not in a position at the moment to publish a full novel, then yeah, absolutely publishing short stories. It helps get that kind of publishing reputation up, whilst also, yeah, you don't have to wait to have a full novel ready to be able to put it up. Mum's going to watch Nigella and get some ideas for dinners. Amazing. I love a bit of Nigella. She's absolutely beautiful, isn't she? She's such a, like, not just aesthetically, like, everything about her just feels gorgeous. Just in the nicest way, in the nicest way. So intended to be something you can read on a lunch break or in one sitting. Yeah, exactly. That sounds great. It'd be nice to have a small catalogue when the anthology comes out. Exactly. Yes, so you've already got a little bit of an online presence in terms of your writing for when that comes out. That's a really good idea. And I think things like, you know, short story collections and flash fiction and all the things that are showing kind of your skills and the breadth of your, what's the word I'm thinking of? Not the breadth of your catalogue, that's not the right thing that I'm thinking, but you know what I mean, kind of your flexibility. What am I thinking of? You know the word I'm trying to think of. Basically, when you're showing like the breadth of your abilities. It's been a long day, guys. It's been a long day, and sometimes my brain does not work. Versatility, that's the word. Thanks, Raven, for saving me. Yeah, shows you versatility. Exactly. That's exactly what I meant. Mum's just laughing at me. I don't blame you, my dear. I don't blame you. Yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to read. I think I'm going to read Women in the Land. And then... Diana, hello. Welcome into the live stream. So I'm a bit late. Cooler temps here in the south at long last. I know. Yeah, we were just having a chat about the weather and the fact that it's nice and cool in Yorkshire. But no worries at all. How are you doing? I was saying it doesn't feel like it's been 2 weeks since I live streamed. It feels like it's been like a month. I don't know why, even though it was literally I only had 1 week off. It feels like so long. Oh, what was that? Oh, bear. Bear with me just a minute. I will be right back. Sorry, I'm back. There was a moth, like, you know, like quite a big moth, quite a chunky moth flew in, and it was looking stuck in my window. So I actually thought it might have been a wasp, so obviously tried to get wasps out of the house and bees just because I don't want them to die inside, and also I don't particularly want Stanley eating a wasp or a bee, but actually it was a moth. But either way, probably should be outside the house and not in the house, so I liberated it. It is now free. Wildlife hero. I just saw it and thought, but it scared me at first because I was like, oh my god, what's that that's just come in my house? I don't like things, I don't particularly love bugs in the house, to be honest. Don't mind them too much when they're outside, but I'm not a huge bug lover. I probably should do. I should love bugs more, especially considering A Bug's Life was one of my favourite childhood films. Speaking of which, how sad is it, the news that Hayden Panettiere's died? That is so tragic. 36. 36. She voiced the character of Princess Dot in A Bug's Life. And I loved her character in that. I thought she was absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, sad. Very, very sad news. And another actor, young person gone far too soon. Far too soon. So... she was in the game Until Dawn. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say about that. I've never played Until Dawn, so I don't know. But I've heard that, yeah, for people who did play that game, yeah, she was kind of much loved actor for that franchise. Franchise, I think it's more than one game, is it? Or is it just one? But yeah, I did hear that. I'm just going to get my book stuff up. Whilst very sad. We love Bug's Life and Racing Stripes. Was she in Racing Stripes? I'm not familiar with that. But yeah, Bug's Life. Yes, very sad. And Heroes. I loved her in Heroes. I think that was probably where I first came across her, although I didn't realise that she was also in Ice Princess, which is one of my favourite films as like a teen. I mean, to be fair, I'd still watch it now. But yeah, I used to love that, and that had Michelle Trachtenberg. Gosh, nearly stuttered on that. I don't quite know how you pronounce that. But yeah, it had, and they're both now no longer with us, which is sad. But yeah, I liked her in Heroes, and then was like, oh, that's the girl who's in Ice Princess as well. Right. Well, we are 7:15. So shall we go into the first session? We'll have 20 minutes, and yeah, we can then catch up a little bit more. If everybody's up for that, let's do it. How was that? Watching you read is like eating out with you when you were a teenager. Yeah, my poor mum, for many, many years, whenever I left the house, I basically had a book attached to my hand, and I would go to a restaurant and I would basically just sit there like this, reading, and would be, I guess, rather antisocial. But I should imagine as a parent, you would probably be more happy to see your kid just sat reading than being a terror, running around a restaurant or whatever. But yeah, I loved reading. I mean, obviously, I still hugely love reading now as an adult. I think there's a freeness of reading as a teenager up until probably leaving university or leaving education and entering the workplace. There's a freeness of reading that you don't get again as an adult. You know, as an adult, you're squeezing reading in around work and being tired and having children if you have them and responsibilities and stuff. But there's something about being young and just having the complete freedom to totally escape into a book. Yeah, I miss that sometimes. Anyway, I read the introduction and I just started the first chapter of this book. Obviously not very far through it at all. I wrote a couple of notes of things that I thought would be quite useful. Just little things like historical context. So I read something about like female investors in the 17th century were not as rare necessarily as you would be led to believe. And it made me think a bit of that scene in Poldark where Ross and Demelza are at risk of having to, I think, sell the mine or sell the house or sell something to get some money, and then Caroline comes in and offers them a loan as an investment. And obviously I know that Poldark isn't necessarily hugely historically accurate. I think it is quite good though in its history. I think the writer did research pretty well that kind of area of Cornish history. And it made me think a little bit of that, and then I was thinking about, is there an opportunity to have something similar in my book where, you know, maybe my main character needs some investment and a woman comes to her aid? Or, I don't know, it feels a little bit too similar to Poldark does that in a way, so I don't particularly want to be copying plot points. Maybe it's something that, I don't know, can just be some context in the background, like maybe she gets offered an investment or something and she turns it down for different reasons. I don't know. So there's a couple of little things like that. I just made some notes on my manuscript, and then I was also looking for, because this is an academic text, there's a lot of references, and one of the references was to widows in Northamptonshire, which, if you don't know, both of my books feature a woman from Lamport Hall, a real historical character, because I lived at Lamport Hall for a while. It's where I did my internship and my master's degree, so I was looking to see if that featured any women from Lamport. It doesn't the article that was referenced in the book. So yeah, that's what I was doing. I find it very strange reading non-fiction, like sitting and just reading an academic text, like if I'm not annotating it. So because I've done obviously an awful lot of research for my 2 books, the way that I would read a book like this as part of my research is I would read it and I would have a pad and pen next to me, and anytime I wanted to write a quote down, I would write it down. And I have quite a strict process of, like, a quote would be in blue ink, and then my thoughts, my words, my interpretation of what I'm reading is in red ink, so that I would never plagiarise, because obviously you don't want to plagiarise with non-fiction. It's a bit different with this because I'm not really reading it, you know, there's not going to be any, I'm not going to quote it in my novel. I'm just kind of learning about the history of women in the land, and it's unusual for me to read a book and not be thinking about taking notes. So I'm kind of enjoying it, just being able to just like read it for kind of vibes and enjoyment. So yeah, that was quite nice to just read it then. My grandfather and I used to eat dinner together when I visited my grandparents. We would both sit and eat and read. That's so cute. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I've got such like a picture in my mind of you. That is really sweet. Very proud of you. Thank you, Mum. Stanley's come back. Don't know if anybody noticed that he's come back and he's sleeping in his bed. Not going to disturb him. Oh, excuse me. Oh, dear me. Oh, I've got an itchy nose as well. Apologies. Oh, and now I'm going to have a drink. I don't know if you can hear me glugging. I hope not. I hope my microphone isn't that strong that you could hear me swallowing then. Yeah, so that's what I got up to in that 20-minute session. I think I'm going to continue reading that first chapter for the next session that we go into, just because I actually want to get into reading a full chapter and seeing how we get on. I did forget until I was in that session that I have to present my book, some more of my book, at my writing group on the 25th? No. 22nd of August. No. That's September. The 26th. The 26th. Why can't I say that properly? The 26th of August. So that's next Wednesday. So, yeah, a week tomorrow. So I've got this session and I've got next week's live stream to prepare that content. So last time I presented, I can't even remember how much of the novel I presented, but I think I definitely did the first few chapters. Samples for the writing group. May. Let's see how far I went through. Chapter 1. Chapter 2. Chapter 3. Yeah, so I went up to the end of chapter 3, and now I have got up to chapter 10. So I've written another 7 chapters since that they haven't seen yet. Now, the way that I've been doing it with my writing group is that I've been presenting a section, going away and working on it, and then presenting the same section again. So that's what I'm going to do. Well, I'm going to present them with a new section. So they've read up to chapter 3. I'll probably do like 4, 5 and 6, depending on how long they are. And then I'm sure I'll get a lot of feedback on it because it's more raw as a section. And then I'll go away, I'll work on it, and then I'll present chapters 4, 5 and 6 again later, the next time it's my turn to present. So I think I'm probably happy to just leave those at the moment, and then I might edit them next week. I mean, I might just have a very quick flick over because I'm terrible and I can't help editing my own work. I don't know how many. Let's put the word count up and see how many. See what the word count is of chapters 4, 5 and 6. Gimme. So I'm just highlighting it all so I can see. Come along. Right. Oh, no, not that bit. There we go. 8,400 words. I don't think I'm allowed to present 8,400 words. I can't think how many words it is that we are usually encouraged to share. It's definitely not 8,000. I definitely can't do that. So I need to. I wonder what a couple of chapters would be. Maybe chapter 4 and 5. I think it's because, yeah, I think chapter 5 is quite a long one because chapter 5 is where she goes to the solicitors to find out. Yeah, that's 5,400 words. I might email Michael, who runs the group, and just say, am I okay to present 5,500 words? I mean, the thing is, we send it over well in advance. So, well, actually, having said that, yeah, I might have to work on this tonight because we usually send it over well in advance so that people can read them before the session. I'm gonna have to work on it tonight, right? Well, that's just set the tone for the rest of the live stream. I will not be reading any more of Women in the Land. I might take that to bed and read some in bed. I'm going to be working on the book on chapters 4 and 5 because it'd be nice to get it to, if it's 5,500 words I'm going to send over, it would be good to be able to give people plenty of time because I don't know how fast people read. It's very hard to know when you're writing on an A4 sheet how many kind of A5 or like paperback books it would be in terms of pages. Does anybody write their books and format them in a proper like book layout, in a page layout? I'd be really intrigued to know. I never have done. I've always just written them as A4 pages, but I'd be intrigued to know, does it help at all? Oh, goodness me. Oh. Right, I am going to, I think maybe let's start a new session in a minute. As soon as it clicks to 10:02, let's do another writing session and then I'll get going with it because I'm going to need some time to get through this. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do, and then hopefully it's not too bad. I know I've done bits of editing on it already, so hopefully it's just a case of reading through it and changing things. I don't think I need to read the previous chapter. No, that's just, yeah, I know where I'm going with that. I've read chapters 1 to 3 so many times I don't really need to reread chapters 3 to know what I'm going on to in chapter 4. Right, let's do it. Let's go into the next writing session, or the next session altogether. And then, yeah, we'll chat again in 20 minutes. Oh, right. It's getting dark quicker. Which I know... Oh, excuse me. What's the matter? You okay? I wasn't talking to you, my love. You just stay there. Yeah, I mean, I know it's going to start getting dark again as we head towards September, but it is only the 18th of August. I suspect it's because the weather's not great. It's feeling quite dark. I might... Do I need to close that window yet? Probably not. I think I can probably deal with it a little bit longer before I need to close it. That session actually went really fast, that 20 minutes, I think because I'm reading, which is a good sign. That is a very good sign that as I'm reading and editing, time is passing quickly, which means that I'm obviously engaged in the story. So I didn't get all the way through it. I got kind of maybe a third of the way through chapter 5. I did read all of chapter 4. I'm pretty happy with it, although I'm a bit like, nothing really happens. I mean, it does, because the kind of male love interest, I'm kind of calling him at the moment, he is kind of showing her his abilities, and my main character is... It's kind of their first interactions together. So it is important, like, obviously I need to have a first conversation between them. I'm just wondering whether I need something a little bit more dramatic to happen in that chapter to flesh it out a little bit, or whether it's fine. Does it even need to be another chapter, or can it just be tagged onto the end of the previous chapter? I don't know. Oh, goodness me, sorry. I'll leave it for now, and I can talk about that with the writing group. But then, yeah, I moved on to the next one, so chapter 5. So we're definitely going to do at least one more writing session, because I really want to get through the rest of chapter 5. But yeah, what has everybody else been doing? Jill's been catching up on your journal at the moment. That's nice. Is it any particular type of journal, or is it just kind of random day-to-day kind of thoughts, or is it themed? I always like the idea of journaling. I just think because I do so much kind of writing in my day-to-day work, and obviously I'm trying to get through 2 books at the moment, for me journaling feels... I don't know, there's a bit of a blockage there for me in journaling. I feel like it would feel too much of a chore, personally, for where I am right now. So I don't do it, but I love the idea of it. And I have watched in the past videos of people journaling and setting up their own journals and stuff, which I quite like. Did you have a nice time with your relatives last week? I did, thank you. It was lovely. They came Wednesday to Wednesday, did Tom's parents, and when they arrived, the forecast was pretty bad. It said it was going to rain for like most of the week, which we were gutted about, because they've come over a couple of times now in the August, in the height of summer, and it's rained every time they've come. And so I was really hoping they were going to be able to come and it was going to be nice weather so we could sit outside and kind of enjoy the garden and stuff. Anyway, the forecast changed, and I think we just had one day where it was a bit cold and maybe had a little bit of spitting, but we didn't have any rain, which everybody will know. Well, you will know for certain, Jill, because you're in England. But yeah, it then turned nice. Then we had the heat wave, didn't we, on like the Thursday? They went home on the Wednesday, but we had the heat wave, so it's kind of like getting towards that, so it was getting nice and warm. So it was lovely. Yeah, we had lots of sitting out in the garden, drinking wine and just chatting. Didn't do much DIY, to be honest, because originally the original plan was to redo our decking. We've got like it's not tiny, we've got a small square deck in the corner of our garden, and it's very uneven, very wobbly. It needs completely redoing. So the idea was that we would spend that week redoing the decking, but with the weather forecast to be so bad, we abandoned it. And then of course it turned out to be not as bad as it should have been, so we could have done it in the end. But anyway, Tom's mum and dad... Oh, that's my dryer beeping. I was like, what's beeping? Tom's mum and dad went over to see his granddad. Tom's granddad is in a care home, and so he's not very well. He's kind of at the end of his life, and so they went over to see him. Pretty much most days that they were here, they nipped over to the care home to see granddad. And then I took Friday off work, and we Tom's mum and I went to a fabric shop over in Dewsbury that we've been to a few times now, got some fabric, and just kind of hung out a little bit. So yeah, it was lovely. It was very, very nice, thank you. Oh, goodness me. I feel like I should have a coffee before these live streams, just to wake myself up a little bit. But then again, when it gets to 9 o'clock, I want to be able to just go straight to bed. So I feel like if I've had a coffee at like 6 o'clock, I won't be going to bed at 9. I have a daily journal and a junk journal. So what is a junk journal? Is that like bits and pieces of stuff that you collect throughout the day? Have I got that right? Like receipts, little, you know, if you see a nice label on something that you like, or like mementos from throughout the day. Is that what it is? Have I got that right? Because again, I quite like the idea of that. My mum will remember this. Don't know if mum's still here. She was here a bit earlier. But I had these, I kind of did a bit of a junk journal when I was at, I think it was when I was college, at sixth form college, and which for people who are American is in the UK, we finish high school at 16 and then we have 2 years of what would be sixth form college, or we go to a college before we go to university. And I went to a separate college to my high school for 2 years, and I did like a journal then, but it was more arty than like kind of a daily journal or a junk journal. It was kind of like I would make pages around a theme. I think I've still got it somewhere. It's probably up in like my mementos box or something like that. But I did that, and then I also did, this is really nerdy now thinking about it, but I made a scrapbook. So when I finished my undergraduate degree, I signed up to do my master's in country house studies, and in the summer between my undergraduate degree and my postgraduate degree, I went on, it's a bit embarrassing now to talk about it, but it's cool as well in the same way. I went on like a little mini grand tour is what I called it. So if you don't know, the grand tour is what they call, not the TV show. The original grand tour is basically something that aristocratic men used to do. Some women did it as well as time went on, but originally it was just aristocratic men would travel Europe to see a bit of the world, to gain some independence and some maturity, to kind of see a bit of the world, but they gathered artwork and collections, and they would bring home statues and art and jewellery and all this kind of thing. It was a bit like having a gap year. It was a bit like a gap year. And that's what they did. And then they would come home, they would marry and settle down and get on with the business of being an adult. I decided that I wanted to do like a country house tour, where I would do a mini grand tour where I would go around lots of different country houses in primarily the north of England is where I did it, because I didn't really have the money or the opportunity to go to the Midlands or South. So I went around the north, and I kind of went over towards Manchester first, went up and then across to North Yorkshire, came down and then came back, and it was like a little circular. Yeah, Mum saved her £2 coins for me for car parking. It was so cute. Yeah, and I that's what I did, and I did this mini grand tour, and I started a sketchbook, like a scrapbook of everywhere that I went, to each of the houses that I went. I don't think I finished it, but I got about halfway through. A beautiful book it was. That's somewhere. It's somewhere in this house in my mementos. I've got like a big, like a big yellow, what are they called? Really useful box. I've got a really useful box that's full of like special memories and things like that, and it's in there somewhere. But I think it also got me my first job at English Heritage. So again, when I was doing my masters, so I did this country house tour, then went and did my masters, and whilst I was doing my masters, I then got a job at English Heritage at Kirby Hall in Northampton. And at the interview, such a nerd, I took this scrapbook with me to the interview, and I was like, this is what I made. It's quite embarrassing, really. I mean, to be fair, if a little, kind of 21-year-old heritage nerd came to me tomorrow to an interview and was like, I did a mini grand tour of country houses and I made a scrapbook, like, I would think that would be the most adorable thing ever. So they loved it. I remember in the interview they were like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" They were like flicking through it and this, that, and the other. And yes, I did get that job, and I loved it. And I worked at Kirby Hall, and I loved it for a really long time. And I worked with a lovely lady called Beryl. And it's really funny because we went back relatively recently. I want to say maybe in the last couple of years we went back to Kirby Hall because I was down. Was it when I was doing my? I think it might be when I did my talk at Lamport. So I did a lecture at Lamport about my books. I think it might have been then because Tom was with me, and we went over to Kirby Hall to just for the memories really to have a look around. And I went in, and Beryl was still working there, and she was like, Charlotte Carroll, which Charlotte Carroll was my maiden name, and I was like, yeah, it's me. And she remembered me, which was unbelievable. I didn't think she would remember me. And so we had a lovely chat, and this, that, and the other, and caught up. And she said that she'd seen that I had written books now, and this, that, and the other. It was just a lovely moment. So yeah, my little country house scrapbook got me that job and made a lovely connection, and some lovely memories. I loved working at Kirby Hall. It was fantastic. So yeah, you're right. And if I travel things, I collect in photos. You see, I travel journaling, I could really get behind. I think that'd be really nice to have like a travel journal. Tom's mum is putting together, I think she gets it off a website called Popsy. I don't know if people have heard of that, Popsy Books. And she's making us a little photo album, like a book photo journal of our trip to Italy and then the drive that we did back from Italy to Portugal. So she's making a little book out of that for us. I think we'll get it for Christmas as a little additional Christmas present. But yeah, I like things like that. And I think that now so many of our memories are just held on our phone. It's good to have like physical memories, so that you can, yeah, you're not kind of reliant on your phone for the memories all the time. Anyway, that was a very long rambly story. I hope you don't mind me telling that. But yeah, I think I'm just going to close that window actually, just because it is getting a little dark and cool. Bear with me just 1 second, please. I'm back. Sorry. The music probably like just barely started and then it's coming back off again. It's just, yeah, allows me to go and close that window. But right, we'll give it another minute, and then at 25 we'll go into the last 20-minute session, and then we can just have a little bit of a chat towards the end of the live stream. So yeah, let's go straight into it now, and then we'll chat towards the end. headphones off. Hopefully the cat stays there a little bit. You can stay there. You can stay there. Yes, Liam, my smutty novel. There will be a little bit of romancy bits in it. There certainly will. For sure. What? I don't think at the moment though it's going to turn out to be as smutty as I wanted it to be. Like when I first started writing this novel, I was very much like, it's going to be, you know, your Poldark, your Outlander style novel. And because I'm me, it's becoming more historical fiction than medieval romp, for want of a better word. But who knows? I can always put more of that in later if I need to. I want slow burn. I want like slow burn romance. I want yearning. I want a... Oh. Okay, we're done. He's had enough. He's like, I don't want slow burn. Let me just move the cat cam again out of the way. Yeah, Stanley clearly doesn't want a slow burn romance in his life, which is fine. I hope that Emma got to see him. Emma has a fantastic ability to join these live streams when Stanley's not on camera. And she's always like, Charlotte, where is the cat on the cat cam? But he has, I think he's been on it quite a lot tonight, the cat cam. But yeah, that was quite a good session actually. I got a little bit further through. I mean, I was talking to people, and Liam, who is a friend. Liam we started off as, I guess, as Tom's friend, but then he's now my friend as well. Went to college with Tom, and then is part of a group of friends, most of whom live in London. Liam is a wonderful music producer, very, very talented music producer. So yeah, I was doing a little bit of chatting, but I did get a little bit further. I didn't get all the way through the chapter though, unfortunately. So I've still got a bit more to go through. So I might I was going to say I might stay up after the live stream. I don't think I will, to be honest. But I'll keep it open, and then tomorrow afternoon I might do the rest of it. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. The biggest thing that I think I need to change is... Oh gosh, sorry. I've said at the moment that there's no will. And I think I want to put a will back in. Because having spoken to the legal expert that I told you about, he said that even if there was a will, the way that wills were often written when it comes to property is it was heirs. My property will pass to my heirs, and it would be very unusual for you to be named as an individual in a will at this time in history. It would just be the heirs of my body or the heirs of my line or whatever. And so that means that within the will, the cousin, Jeremy, originally would have been the heir to the inn, but now that this law change has happened, it's actually she becomes the heir. So it's fine for there to be a will, because the will would still support her. Whereas before I was just going to go down the whole line of there's no will, because I thought that was easier. But I think I will put that back in. So I need to pop that bit in. And then add a bit in about the wording of it. Other than that, it's kind of like trying to balance between, because she's gone to the solicitor to find out about the law change, to find out what's going on, how this has come to happen. And I'm trying to keep it where it's like a normal kind of balanced conversation, whilst also not info dumping, because I'm definitely not info dumping. I'm trying to provide the context as to how this law change has come to place, and like the context of it and the history and this, that and the other. So I'm definitely trying not to info dump. I've done 10 chapters so far. I'm on just shy of 24,000 words. So I think I'm about a quarter of the way through. I think I worked out that it's probably going to be about 100,000 words in total. So I'm about a quarter of the way through the book. I'm actually, tonight I'm editing chapters 4 and 5 because I'm also part of an online writing group, and we meet every month and present our work and then give feedback on our other people's work in the group. And I'm meeting next Wednesday, the 26th. I've got the online, we're meeting next Wednesday. It's my turn to present, and I presented them with chapters 1, 2 and 3 last time, so now I want to present them with chapters 4 and 5. So I'm editing so that I can send that over to the person who runs the group maybe on Friday this week, and then they've got the best part of like kind of the weekend and the early part of next week to be able to read it. Because what we tend to do is we read the submissions before we get into the meeting. It's only a 2-hour Zoom meeting, so we read them beforehand, and then the kind of 2-hour Zoom meeting, there's usually 3 people that present per meeting, so we each get, you know, kind of, I don't even know what that would be, kind of 15-20 minutes per person, and then time for just like chatting and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been working on. Diana is engrossed in my writing, didn't realise all this chatter was happening. Well, that's good. That means that you're engaged and it's going well with your writing. What are you working on this evening, Diana? What have you been doing? Who's your favourite character? Probably my main character at the moment. I don't know. I kind of like, so I've got this character called Ruth, who is kind of like a bit of a cook, housekeepery type character. And because my main character she doesn't have a mum or a father. Her father's died at just kind of like at the beginning of the novel, but not in the events of the novel. We kind of the book starts at his graveside on the day that he's buried. And so she doesn't really have any parents in the book, and so Ruth is a little bit of like a surrogate mother, but she's really kind of strong-willed, and she doesn't take no for an answer, and she can make the biggest, bolshiest man kind of cower, and I kind of love her. I think she's got the kind of bolshy personality that I would love to have but never could have, and so she's quite fun as a character to write. But yeah, and I've got a couple of other little people here and there that I'm quite enjoying writing. And I think Jeremy will be fun to write. Jeremy's like the villain in the story. He's the cousin that's been displaced by this change in the law, and I think he's going to be quite fun to write because he's going to be a true villain. But yeah, we'll see. I haven't really thought about that. Continuing my story, thinking of a pub name. The best bit of writing is definitely allowing your mind to be creative. It really is. I love describing places. So describing like, so for me, the inn that is kind of one of the central places in the book is so like clear in my mind. I can picture it so clearly, and I love describing it and like hoping that other people have a really clear view and a really clear picture in their mind of the place as well. But yeah, I'm terrible with names though. So my inn is called the Five Oaks Inn, and the reason it's called the Five Oaks. Can you guess? It's because there are 5 oak trees outside the front of the inn, and that just came quite naturally. But some things, I mean, Anne, my main character, has been called different things. She's had several name changes already. I'm sticking with Anne at the moment, but her name may change again before the book is finished. I'm not very good with names. I'm actually really surprised that the book has a title. I'm not going to tell anybody what the title is at the moment, but it has a title, and I am terrible at titles, like absolutely horrendous. So I'm surprised that the book has a title, because I didn't think it would have. But yeah, any villains? Only Jeremy at the moment. I've got an idea of, there are like, I don't even know if I want Jeremy to be a really strong villain, you know, like a really obvious villain. I think I just want him to be kind of like just a flawed human, and just showing kind of the extent to which someone, like a general human being, will go to when they believe they've been wronged. So I've got a few people who are just not very nice people, but they're not like out and out villains, they're just not nice. And then I've got a few people who are like unexpectedly just like the nicest people in the world, because I think that reflects life. Do you find world building or character building best? These are really good questions, Liam. Thank you very much for joining the live stream, asking really interesting questions. Do you find world building? It almost looks like I've planted you. Like I've messaged you and been like, Liam, please come on my live stream and ask me loads of interesting questions. I promise you I haven't. I did not know Liam was going to join the live stream. I think I don't really know which one I prefer best, because so I think some writers will build their world and will have like really clear descriptions, and they'll have written it all out separately, and they'll be like, this is exactly what my world looks like, this is how it operates, this is the legal framework, this is the society, these are the rules, these are the this, that and the other. And then they'll also have their characters really fleshed out, and they'll be like, this is my character, this is the day they were born on, this is what they look like, this is their personality, this is what happened. And to a certain extent, I think a lot of writers give really good advice when they say you should know your character inside out before you write them. I haven't really done that. So I've ignored quite a lot of the advice, really, in that I tend to just be writing mainly on vibes, which is not a good way, probably not the best way to write. I just kind of, it just feels just like the fun of it, just sitting down and like what comes next is the bit that I'm enjoying. Having said that, I do want to make sure there is some consistency, so I do need to kind of write out some of the kind of characterizations and this, that and the other, so I can be consistent across the book. I love character driven books. Yeah, I think the thing is I don't want to have a book where it's kind of stuck in info dumping or heavy descriptions, or like feeling like I'm telling you everything about a character. Like I don't even think I've described Anne, and I've written 10 chapters. There might be the odd bit here and there where I'm describing her, but I haven't really overly described her because I feel like it doesn't really matter, if that makes sense. Like however you picture Anne is fine. And yeah, it's a weird one. I kind of like those where it allows your mind's eye to fill in the blanks rather than being overly descriptive and prescriptive, if that's the right way. If it works for you, it's the right way. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping so. I mean, obviously, I've never had a fiction book. I've never even submitted a fiction book to a agent yet, so it might not be the right way if I never get a book published. But hopefully it does. But I mean, it didn't work very well with the Lighthouse novel, because I hadn't plotted, and I do think I need to do more plotting, which I have done to a certain extent with this novel. I know what's happening next for the next few chapters, and I've kind of thought about what I want the overarching arc to be and the overarching storyline. So that's good. I think the thing with the Lighthouse novel was I knew how I wanted it to start, and I knew how I wanted it to end, but I had no idea how to get from one to the other. And what I ended up writing was pretty rubbish, in my opinion. I probably will come back to that at some point. I think there's merit in the story, but this feels so much better as a project. Oh, bye, Mum. Thank you very much for watching. My mum's off to watch Celebrity MasterChef. Go for it, love. Enjoy. We'll be getting off in a minute. I finish at 9 o'clock. I don't think Liam knows much about my live streams, but the way that I do them is a couple of hours, 7 till 9, every Tuesday evening, and I alternate chatting and then like kind of 20-minute focus sessions with the music, so that I'm writing, or I've been doing a bit of reading and research as well. So we'll be getting off in a couple of minutes. How much of yourself goes into each character? I try not to put much of myself at all into anything. I know a lot of people who do put a lot of themselves into their characters. I think, if anything, I put more of what I would like to be like into my characters. So, because I've got a lot of self-consciousness and just kind of generalized anxiety about the world and social awkwardness and you know, that kind of thing. I like to write characters that are very confident and free to act the way that they want to act and know themselves. I wouldn't necessarily write a character like me because, without getting too deep, don't really like myself much. No, I do. But do you know what I mean? Like I spend so much more time looking at my flaws than I do looking at the things that are great about myself. And so I want to write a character that really inspires me rather than writing a character that I look at and all I see are my own personal flaws reflected. If that makes sense. So I think that's what I'm probably more likely to. I'm more likely to write a character who is the person that I would love to be rather than me as I am now. So, yes, on that bombshell, I think we should leave it here. It's 9 o'clock now. It's been a long day for everybody. So, yeah, thank you very much for joining another live stream. It's been amazing. It's flown by again. 2 hours always flies. I will be back again next Tuesday, as per usual. I don't think I'm having a break now until mid-late September. So I will be here every Tuesday over the next few weeks. Jill, I won't be here next week. I have a Friends Day. Oh, no worries at all, Jill. Thank you very much for coming as often as you do. We love seeing you here as part of the live stream, but absolutely enjoy next week with your friend. And we'll see you the week after, hopefully. Night, Diana. Thanks, Raven, as well for being here throughout the entire live stream. Everybody is amazing, but thank you, especially to everybody who comes every week. It is so lovely to have our little corner of the internet. And thanks, Liam, for popping in. Come again next week. I don't get to see the London group as often as I would like to because obviously they're all down south and I am up here in the north. So yeah, feel free to jump in again. Bring all your great questions. Those questions were ace. Yeah, feel free to come again with more questions. But right, I will end this here. Thank you again. Have a lovely week and I will see you next week. Okay, bye.